Okay, it's been a while. Just want to talk about 3.20. 3.19 didn't go fantastic for me. I ran into some unexpected interactions in the game, which kind of burnt me out. Plus, I had just real life stuff. Plus, I wasn't very excited about the changes to Pathfinder, which have turned out to be crap. I mean, if the goal was to have Pathfinders be less of a chaos attack oriented build, I can say that that was a failure. Which is also why I didn't talk about the recent leaks, because everybody's just playing chaos attack builds. Yay. Anyway, looks like they don't know what they're doing, or the goal was to make everybody chaos attack focused, which is the opposite of what they put in their death manifesto. Alright, so quick version. Do you want to play Chaos Attack builds? Yes, consider Pathfinder. No, don't play Pathfinder. Um, so the league mechanic is probably going to be pretty rough for Pathfinder. Um, the only benefit is there's low pack size, but Pathfinders mitigate damage. Right? We have lots of recovery. We get way more life points out of a flask. We can reduce damage taken by a lot. But if all those reduction mechanics don't interact with your alternate life point system, they're useless. And if they do interact with the alternate life point system, the alternate life point system is probably going to be useless. So chances are it's not going to interact. So the only thing you get is uptime on flasks. But the uptime on flasks you care about at that point is not life. It's not like the elemental flasks. It's like the onslaught flask or things that help you not get hit in the first place, right? That's what you're looking for. So look for speed, range, burst damage. You want to be mobile. That's not really a Pathfinder. So we got a buff. If you get your onslaught through a Quicksilver Flask, you get 4% increased attack, cast, and movement speed. I think that's probably one of the most impactful things for Pathfinders. It's way more important, of course, for people who have like a Mage Blood, but this is the thing that's impactful for Pathfinders. Um, the Healthless mechanic, it looks like they decided that even getting 3 flash charges on a hit is too much, so they most likely referred to that when they said they fixed this bug. Um, oh well, it wasn't that amazing anyway, honestly, but they definitely seem to have taken it out back. This is the most exciting feature for me. And to clarify, it's this part. They are introducing account bound items. Right, so one of the things they're going to test this league is whether or not account bound items are really account bound or people manage to trade them anyway. Um, this opens up a lot of design space. This is something Chris Wilson has come out against. Right, his logic is that if people rent a home, then they don't want to invest in that home, which is a nice argument. But there's lots of things you rent and you do invest in, right? That's why when you rent a hotel room, there's options. When you rent a car, there's options. When you rent a plane seat, there's options. People are willing to invest and pay for things that they don't get to keep with them. So this is, hopefully we'll see more in this space. I think it can solve some of the crafting issues, right? There's crafting that is just too powerful when it's in the hands of people who are dedicated crafting. But that means that the crafting for people who are not dedicated crafters, it's a very steep learning curve. So enabling more powerful crafts which make your item account bound could be exciting. Or giving people items that are account bound, white, and then enabling crafting on that could be exciting. Right? That it's a way to let people experiment more with the system without blowing up the economy. Um, letting people re-roll the numbers on a unique with some currency, but it becomes account bound, well, that means that you can have all these different uh, things open up without blowing up the economy in the process. My plans, I'm not going to play Pathfinder. I think this league is awful for it. I don't think there's anything interesting. I'll talk for a little bit about what my actual plans are, because I've been looking at this tree for a while. This is a 23.3, and it's running Grace and another 50% Aura. I mean, we can up this to level 100, doesn't matter, right? So at level 100, we have a 40%, or 53% evasion chance, which is pretty bad. And we have a 30% movement speed modifier. That's not good either. Until you look at the items, we don't have any. The only thing we're rocking right now is Grace and Haste. And we have 2% unreserved mana. So that means that you either have to pay life for your skills, or you can continue on and pick up Eldritch Battery. I'm kind of going into this area anyway, so I might look at just doing the Eldritch Battery shenanigans. But what we're doing here is we're picking up an increased effect of auras a little bit, but mana reservation and some mana reservation here, some increased effect here, and then we have Supreme Ego. Supreme Ego does 40% more mana reservation of aura skills, and aura skills have 1% more aura effect per 2% maximum mana they reserve. Right, so one of our auras reserves more than 50%, which is like Grace. So that one gets like 20%, 5% more effect. Right, so our Grace is giving us 24% movement speed, I believe, 25%, which is pretty nutty. That's pair of boots. That's the haste actually. So let's look at the calcs. When I was able to hover over that and see what it did. Oh. Cast speed. I don't know where I saw these numbers. We have a lot of movement skills. We have a lot of movement speed. We have a lot of attack and cast speed from this, which is pretty neat. And we have decent suppression as well. Like, we don't pick up any bad numbers. Where is our movement speed? I haven't played in this for a while. Not seeing it right now. We have 38% cast speed and attack speed from the haste, which is, decent. Then as far as what I'm actually going to do with the tree later on, I'm going to go Deadeye, Fireball. I have been staring at Fireball for a long time, right? Fireball is Explosive Concoction. It has the same attack speed as Explosive Concoction, and it does pretty much the exact same damage as Explosive Concoction, except you pay mana instead of 9 flash charges. And paying mana is just easier. Flash charges are a little bit harder to get than, mana. But if you do that, you can pick up Graceful Assault, get yourself Onslaught, get some Onslaught effect, which is effectively cast speed. We're going to pick up some projectile speed. We're going to pick up Frenzy charges. So we're going to have pretty nutty cast speed, which of course is good when you are playing a Deadeye, because that means you can have the benefits from Gathering Winds, which means you have Tailwind at increased effect. So we're going to be casting very, very fast, and we're going to be casting a very large number of fireballs in a very short duration. Again, no gear. We're already at 69% evade chance, which means that we can be pretty liberal as far as what boots we wear. Well, we have 45% movement speed, so we can be liberal around boots. Actually, that's not quite accurate. Let's turn on Onslaught. I wish you could search. Do you have Tailwind? Yes. Do you have Onslaught? Yes. Okay, so we have 79% movement speed. We're not wearing boots, we don't have a Quicksilver Flask. Right, it's still no gear. Which means that chances are we don't really need to worry too much about what boots we wear. We can wear boots that other people wouldn't consider, which allows you to buy very cheap, very good boots. Right? You can look at 3 good prefixes, and none of them have to be movement speed because you're moving. We also have just pretty decent cast speed. We cast 2.8 times a second. If you look at the calcs, Fireball, we have about 100% increased cast speed, which is pretty good. So we're gonna be doing a lot of damage from that. As far as links, Fireball, I'm just running Fireball straight. So our damage is pretty bad. Like our total DPS is 14k. Just fire pen, hit based, pinpoint. Right, once you put the links in, it will do a lot more damage. But you can decide what direction you want to go with that. We have decent suppression on the tree. We have 39% base. If you want more suppression, you can pick it up over here. You can pick it up over here. You can decide, hey, I don't want this point. I'm gonna route over here to pick up some more movement speed and suppression. I'm not sure you need more movement speed. I think we're good. We hop over here. 14% increased effect. Pretty nice. Mana reservation. So we have like 8% unreserved mana. I'm not sure there's anything you can do with that. Ideally, we would like less mana reservation, right? So we might say like, okay, I'm gonna inspect this. Oh, that's not the one I want. Inspect this, does that work? No. You need it for now. But, you know, depending on a jewel or something, you can kind of get this closer to 0. The closer to 0 you can get this, the more effect you get out of Supreme Ego. You might also decide, like, I'm just not going to invest in this curse wheel because it's only 8% increased effect. Well, it's 14% increased effect, which is pretty good. You might drop this wheel. It's another option. Anyway, there's a lot of playing around to be done with it. Might end up dropping this wheel because I just really don't need the additional cast speed. And then just go over here. Pick up Eldritch Battery. We get some okay energy shield just from over here. And then take this. You're like mid 70s at this point, I believe. Yeah, 103. So you're at 74. Which is pretty decent. You definitely need some energy shield recoup, or you need some way to boost up your energy shield. You can pick up Ghost Dance, you can pick up Let's Shade, just to become a little bit more tanky in that regard. You can be very flexible with your chest, right? Your evade chance is already very high. On top of that, you're reducing the enemy accuracy, so that helps out as well. Oh, I forgot one thing on the calcs. Configuration. Do you have frenzy charges? Yes. So yeah, our attack speed is even higher than that, and we have a little bit more damage. So yeah, I think this is gonna work fine. I'll play around with it some more. I think this is going to, like, the biggest issue is doing enough damage, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's super gear flexible. It is going to be very comfy on the speed department. It doesn't really need you to use any flasks. So yeah, that's where I'll be sitting for this league, and then we'll see what happens. Right? We'll see how the different things interact with each other. My guess is that Pathfinder is heading for a redesign, which it should. Um, they don't seem to have a good idea as to what the hell they're doing with it, which kind of makes sense, right? It's kind of they jammed themselves a bit into a corner there. And then the reason I'm saying that they jammed themselves a bit into a corner is that if you base your character around an item that everyone gets 5 of, good luck balancing that. Right? If you want to keep the flavor, then you have to be pretty creative. It can't just be flask charges, a flask effect. On the same token, they moved flask charges onto the tree. They moved flask effect onto the tree. Flask effect's always been on the tree. So yeah, that's kind of where things are standing for right now. So yeah, I guess the only advice I have is that if you don't enjoy where things are going, is branch out, which is what I'm planning on doing. I don't know if I'll be recording videos. We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be something interesting or some interesting Pathfinder mechanic later on. I could always respec. I'm not quite ready to change out my voice lines for something else at this point, so I figured Deadeye is going to work out fine.